baseball, not always the best team wins, right? You got to still go out there and get it done.
Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast Baseball Talk, powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com. Hey, guess what? We're marching right toward the beginning of the season. We got our opening salvo with Game 7 Baseball at Arch Madness out at the WAC. Looking forward to it. That's the last weekend in March 28th, Saturday at the park. We're going to have a good time. Followed by the rest of our Super 7 series. We got the Spring Ring down in Branson, Missouri. We're going to be at Ballparks of America. The Cinco de Mayo right back here at Ozzie Smith Sports Complex in O'Fallon. And the Midland Invitational will also be at Ozzie's. Looking forward to all those. Followed up by our Super 7 series, the 14U Super 7 Invitational, 14U only. We've got 14 teams in it right now. Looking to finish up with a couple of more there. Hopefully we can get. We want to get as many squads in there. We got some guys coming from Illinois, all over Missouri. We're looking forward to it. Gives us an opportunity to see that next group, those 8th graders, as they're heading into high school. We love that part of it. We love to get a chance to talk to these kids as much as possible and just have some fun. Hey, man, it's baseball. It's fun. That's the way it rolls. If you like what we're doing, please follow us on X at YBM_cast, IG, Facebook, and the old TikTok. Well, I think that's the new TikTok, whatever that is. At Youth Baseball Midwest. We appreciate it. And folks, if you're interested in truly supporting what we do here at Youth Baseball Midwest, we have the YBM Club, exclusive content, member perks, all there. It is a paid membership that helps us do and continue what we are setting out to do with our podcasts, our live streams, our travel, all the coaches' previews, our winter workout tour, our drops. We're going to be dropping the rankings first in the club, so you get access early to everything that we do. It helps support what we do here. We love our sponsors, and we have some great sponsors that help us as well and keep us going. But we need your help, and we appreciate it. So if you want to support what we do, please join the club. Right now, we got 50% off the full year, everything going. We're working on some corporate sponsors. We got a couple of things in the bag that we think we're going to be very, very fun for our members as well. So we appreciate your support. Go to youthbaseballmidwest.com, click on the YBM Club tab, and get signed up. On the Prime Sports call link today, we have a couple of great guests. First, Prep Baseball Scouting Director from upwards in the Kansas City area, Mr. Andy Urban. How you doing, bud?
Thanks for having me on. I was excited for this one.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And from Southern Boone High School, the head coach, Mr. Brian Ash. Good to see you. I know you guys been last week he had to fly out, got everybody sick over there and running like chickens with your heads cut off, man.
Yeah, sickness has been the kids, staff, support staff, so it's all hands on deck the last couple of weeks here at school, and not just our school, but I'm sure across the country. I mean, just it's that time of the year. So better weather is here, 70 degree today. We're actually going to get a workout today after school and take advantage of the weather. So
I love that. It is not. Is it the same up there in Kansas City, Andy?
It is absolutely beautiful today.
Love it, man. And high school just right there. It's got to be. It's just so much nicer when you can get out on the field and work out, isn't it, Coach?
Oh, it is for sure. Like Misha's done a good job of allowing us that 7-week period, but it's also we're an outdoor sport, and in the middle of January and February, it's not real conducive unless you have indoor facilities. So really, it doesn't do much good unless you can get outside, several times. So, and we've been blessed with pretty good weather this month.
Absolutely. We just talked with Mr. Daryl Bradley from Misha on the show yesterday, and great conversation. I love the fact that that Misha, Mr. Bradley, comes on. He answers our questions. He's very transparent. It's really great. And you guys, he was talking about the relationship with the Missouri High School Coaches Association, and just talking about that. How has that conversation been between the two organizations, Brian?
It's been great. Anything from rule changes, which we did get one implemented last year, the 2 out of 3 in the quarterfinals for Class 5 and 6. But Daryl and all of Mich has been very receptive to anything that we want to change that we feel like is better for high school baseball. It doesn't always it's not a fast process sometimes, but they do listen, and our advisory committee does a good job of taking anything that we want to share with Misha from our association. So it's a good relationship. I don't think anybody can say that we don't work together. We do. Now, not everything gets passed, but that's you're not going to win every battle. So it's a good relationship, and Daryl's done a great job representing our baseball in Missouri.
Absolutely. Guys, I want to catch real quick before we get into some of these things. We've been announcing some early stuff on our website right now. We have our entire schedule of game of the week up right now on Youth Baseball Midwest. We went ahead and put these out. Every week we are going to do a YBM game of the week. And we have some pretty good stuff. We're opening in Springfield with Marshfield, not in Springfield. I'm sorry, Coach McGee. It's Willard. That's not Springfield. But we're opening in Willard with Marshfield as they go there, and I think that's a fantastic opener. We're going to see 2 high-quality baseball teams. Marshfield, was 4th in state last year, made a great run. Willard, the powerhouse, I think they're going to be tough again. Then the following week, Coach, we have a game of the week in Class 4. We're going to Booneville, Blair Oaks, the Falcons. They just kind of seem to reload every year. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they're talent-wise to the support that they get from their school, their community. I was blessed enough to be a part of that back in the 2005 to 2009. So as a head coach there, so I know what it's like there. And you're right. The last, I don't know, I mean, a lot of years, they just reload. And the one thing that I say that is really one of their strengths, it seems like, is their pitching. And I know they've got several young, really, really talented arms. And I think they're all, I mean, primarily juniors. And then they do have a kid that's back. And Andy and I were talking yesterday, Hayden Lackman, who is an all-world, all-state running back and 6'4", probably, 215 pounds. And he's a left-handed hitter and pitcher. And he's had some injuries over the year due to football, but I think he's fully back, and I would say that's a great ad for them going into his senior year. So, I mean, you got 2 really good lefties and a really dominant righty, and it's going to be very tough to score runs off those 3 guys for sure.
Your thought, Andy? Your thoughts on that matchup there? You've seen a few of those kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think Coach Ash hit the nail on the head as far as pitching staffs. I don't think those games are going to really blow up on Blair Oaks. I think those scores are going to stay low. You're going to have to play really clean baseball to beat them, and I think you're going to have to, maybe catch a mistake with one of your better hitters, and then you're going to have to play really clean defense behind an arm of your own, and it's just going to make it, especially in high school baseball, when you have a dominant arm like they've got over there, you've got a chance to win every night out.
Yeah. And there's another really dominant team on that side of the state in Class 4 that I think is, and that's Summit Christian. And there was a couple of kids at that event from Summit Christian. Man, I mean, Class 4 to me is probably, especially at the just up and down, including you come down to Blair Oaks, Southern Boone, you got Summit Christian up there. No, that's Class 3, but I'm trying to remember. No, it's not. But anyway, just those.
Well, you even go down to Southwest. I mean, Logan Rogersville is as good as anybody, and then you throw in like St. Joe Benton up in St. Joe. I mean, they got a young, talented, very talented group. So Savannah's another team. So yeah, it's super super talented.
And not to mention, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think those teams can compete with some Class 6 schools.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak on this one first. Yeah, I mean, Blair Oaks does play a very big class type schedule, especially on the weekends. We play a pretty good, bigger class schedule as well. Like I was talking to Andy as well. So we've got Andy. I'll get the scouting report from you later. No, we've got like Blue Valley North from obviously Overland Park, Blue Valley Northwest, and Shawnee Mission West. So those are all large schools in Kansas. We played them. We play in the years past. We've been in the Columbia tournament. So the point being is, yes, if you've got enough pitchers, like that's the separator. And then your offense, obviously our 7, 8, 9 guy probably is not going to be as strong as a Class 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9 hole hitter, but like the rest of the lineup and the pitching, they can match up. And then it just comes down to like who can win the freebie war and who can make the least amount of mistakes. So, I think we went 3-0 in the pool play in Columbia tournament, beating like Grain Valley and CBC, and Blair Oaks does that as well. And so baseball's baseball, man. If you got a guy on the mound that can command it, and you can flash some leather, you're going to be in games and you're going to win games.
Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's 100% right. If you can keep the score down, baseball's always got a chance. It's not a football game where your best athletes are just going to take over, dominate, and even basketball to a large extent. I know there's some shot making, but baseball, everybody's got to feel the same ground ball. You just have to play clean, and there's a lot of things that can happen in a baseball game. So yeah, it's the pure talent. Coach Ash and I were talking about this. There's some teams that are purely more talented, but typically the team that walks away with the trophy is the team playing the cleanest baseball at the end of the year.
I absolutely. I love that. Free bases. You can't give away outs. You can't give away free bases. I mean, I don't care what level. That's the common theme from professional baseball on down. Walks, hit by pitch, errors. You give away outs, you give away free bases, you're not going to win a lot of ball games.
And then I'll give you the other end of the spectrum. I know Coach Ash's group does this. If you can take those things, if you can have long at bats and earn a walk, if you can read a ball in dirt and take a base, now that's how you win high school games. When you can not give free ones up and your team can go take something, that's when you have a really good club.
That's high IQ kids though too. That's kids understanding how to play the game, and at the high school level, finding kids in those situations, because you can't tell a kid always, hey, go. They gotta be able to read and see and react and make plays. Correct, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, making plays and the pride on defense, you have to. And you made a comment like IQ, like it is something that can be taught. Like there are some kids it comes a little bit easier, but I'm a big believer because I don't have the luxury. Central Missouri doesn't have the luxury of all these different indoor facilities or these different like hitting coaches and pitching coaches and strength training coaches. We're kind of locked up in a little smaller area where the city schools there's a lot of them. And so our job as high school coaches, like you have to constantly teach, like dirt ball reads you're talking about. And Jeremy Sheetinger did one at the ABCA, a talk on it. I mean, we will pull out big base screens to the side of the mound with runners at first base, and we'll just have coaches like throw balls towards home plate, and they have to immediately read the down angle of the ball, whether to go or not. So is that high IQ? I mean, in a game to be able to read and react, maybe, but it's also a taught skill. And I think those are things you can teach. And if you don't put a preface on doing those little things, then you're going to be on the losing end on a lot of games when they matter and when they're close. The teams who are more prepared in those close games, like Andy was saying, you're going to win a lot. But again, I do believe it's a taught skill. You can teach it.
It goes right back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the call. Those are things you learn when you're outside. Those aren't inside skills. Those are on the baseball field skills. So that's why Coach Ash gets super jacked up when he wakes up and knows that they get to be on the field, because that's when you win and lose games. Yes, a swing can be made better in a cage. Yes, a bullpen tweak can be made. But if you're talking about winning the majority of games when the talent level starts to even out a little bit, those are your wins and losses.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. Because and two, you might lose an early season game here and there because of something like that. You see a lot of these teams coming down from the north of go south. And it's one of the reasons why we're going to Willard early in the season. They got turf coming in, and you just have a better chance of better weather. It's tough playing early season games here. You don't know what you're going to get. Listen, I've been on one of the worst is here, and it's a bad field, but it's just the way where it's located set. I was umpiring a game at Timberland High School, and it sits up high, and it was already like 36 degrees, and the wind just howls through there. And I can't remember being that cold. And I'm looking at these guys, these players, it gets difficult to play in that kind of weather. It's really hard.
That's Brian. That's a great point, because all my football buddies out there, basketball buddies, this is where I argue with them. Basketball, nothing is different. It's the same dimensions. It's the same court, same height of the rim. Football, same everything. Baseball, different dimensions of field. You may be at a short fence. You may be at a short park, long park, natural surface, turf. The mound may be a little bit bigger than most. I've been on mounds that are like, I swear they're 20 inches tall. And it's like, well, their pitchers obviously had an advantage, but so it all kind of varies. I mean, and that's the uniqueness of baseball. And that's why high school baseball, especially, I love, because there's never an excuse. Like, you have to go play that. You're playing the team on the same field. So unfortunately, sometimes that field you may not be used to because you're playing on someone else's park. But that's why I think baseball is the most difficult and challenging thing to do. And the weather. I mean, I've played in snow flurries. I played in a little bit of sleet, and it's 35 degrees outside. It's brutal, and kids don't want to play. I surely don't want to coach in it, but when there's competition to be played, you got to kind of grit through it, and you just got to do the best you can.
Absolutely.
And it's one of the things we get asked about all the time on the scouting perspective, from the prep baseball end of things. Do kids come from programs that compete in those environments, and how have they reacted? It's in college baseball, you just can't be soft, and you have to have had some experience. I would venture to guess maybe those questions aren't as important on the football field or the basketball court, especially in baseball. Like, you got to be a little crazy to want to go practice outside on the field, taking ground balls in that sort of weather. And that's not to diminish. I know football plays in the cold, and that's not to diminish any other sport. But it's a real question that gets asked from scouts from colleges and on the baseball is, when things get hard, like the conditions, like the wind, early season, how does this guy react? How does he play? And it's a question we answer, and it's easier to answer when, it's, hey, this program is known for producing guys that play tough. This program is known for having guys that aren't afraid to dig into the box. It's absolutely a question we get asked a ton, almost as much as, hey, what are the metrics here? Or do you like the way this guy moves? It's, does he play hard, and is he tough?
Yeah, I like that. We got and I think it's going to be interesting. We'll see. We got the skinny. Basically, we'll know class and district assignments as of March 20th at 7 a.m. That's when they come out, and it's what Mr. Bradley said, and that's where we'll see. But it's always fun to look, and you got a little speculation. You can kind of guesstimate. I think it looks like Springfield Catholic may end up back in Class 4. Their championship points are gone that way. So I think we're going to see that. And it looks like, because Tolton ends up with 8 points, it looks like they're going to move up a class. And that's going to be interesting for that Tolton team, who's got a lot of talent still. But now you're up in Class 5, and it does change. How do you think that a team like Tolton, coming off that last year's run, they've graduated some seniors. Where do you see them? How would you see them faring in Class 5, Coach?
Well, it's hard to say because really around here, other than, well, I guess you got Jeff City, Elias, and Capital City that are Class 5. But I don't know if they play those teams. So, like, it's hard to kind of, like, compare scores and things from previous years. And obviously they graduated. Like you said, they graduated a lot of talent. I mean, they were about as talented as they come. And they do have pieces back. So they're going to be fine. But, to challenge themselves, I don't know what that looks like as far as going outside the area. I haven't really looked at their schedule, but I do know they go into St. Louis and play some teams, and they'll be challenged. And, winners win, and they still have a lot of pieces on that team from the last several years where they've had a lot of success. So I would say they're still going to have a good shot to do some damage in Class 5. They do have a new coach who is a friend of mine, and he'll do well. But anytime you have a change, it's just, it's change, and kids have to get used to that. And how they react and how they handle new coaching is all part of it.
Exactly. Have you seen some of the kids from Tolton? There's a couple names out there, Andy, that I think they're going to be fine. I think I don't know if they're at the top of that of Class 5, but I mean, I definitely think they got some kids that can compete.
They're going to have some adversity. So anytime you graduate 5 college players, if my memory serves me right, that's what they had is 5 college players on that team. They're moving up a level, and they're getting a new coach. My guess is typically when that happens, you're gonna have some rough patches early as you grow into who you are with the new identity on 3 different levels. Do they have enough talent to win games? Absolutely. But it'll be an interesting group to watch and to see how they handle 3 big changes.
Yeah. I think it's always interesting, with the championship factor. You see these private schools, they have those kids and they have a lot of success, and then all those kids go to college and boom, there you are. I think it's a fascinating thing. I think it's a fair thing in certain respects. I get why it's being done. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. But, we want to talk about, we were in Kansas City. Oh gosh, it's now a week and a half, right? Yeah. Jeez, man. I wake up.
I'm flying.
It is well, we just put, I just put our countdown to opening day on our website, and it was like, and when I did it, it was like, I put the date and it was like, man, that's only 30 days from now. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. I don't have enough done yet. And it just kind of a realization how fast it goes. And it is, man, just rolls right along. But Andy invited us out there. We set up and Danny Lake was great and gave us a great spot. And we were able to talk to a lot of kids that rolled through there. And just the overall talent level, Andy, that you saw. We talked to a lot of kids from Kansas. Kansas looks to be, and you've said it. Did the Kansas side disappoint? You said that you thought the 26 group was probably the most talented. What do you see from those kids, those 27s?
Yeah, I mean, no one disappointed. We had 20 exit velos over 99 miles an hour or better at the event. We had arms into the 90s. We had guys play really good defense. The amount of polish we saw on guys at this, it's still February. We're still inside. We normally have, players will get really, really worried, concerned about their performances at these. And we just make sure to tell them, hey, we know what time of year it is, and we understand. And the colleges that view your profile, the date's bigger than we can possibly make it on there. We know the date. We understand the time. And this year, it wasn't set at all because guys were coming in polished and sharp and throwing strikes and breaking balls were good and people were on time with the barrel. The amount of polish and readiness that we saw at this event from both sides of the state, from all classes, was I mean, just kind of blew me away.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was fun. I really enjoyed watching the kids, and just, starting with some kids that we talked to. And I want to start on the Kansas side, and we'll come back over some Missouri kids, but that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to this event. And, Coach, if you're playing some Blue Valley school, and some of that, good luck over there.
I'm well aware. Yep.
My goodness. But Lawrence Free State, they won the state title 6A last year, and Andy, they look to be just as loaded again.
Yeah, so it's a program that normally likes to lay low. Coach Hill has been doing this since I've been in high school and before, and he loves to take really, really sound, polished players. He'll throw some strike throwers before he'll throw some big velo. He'll play some guys that play better defense, maybe over a home run hitter. And you look up at the end of the year and they're in the postseason and they're vying for a state championship. Well, this year he's going to do both. He's going to have incredible talent. He's going to have big flamethrowers on the mound that throw strikes. He's going to have power and speed offensively. He's going to have defenders up the middle who can flat play the game. It's going to be really hard to match up with these guys day in and day out, no doubt.
Well, we spoke to a young man, and he's a sophomore, and I don't know that, the sophomore catcher, Carter Laubach, and really enjoyed and a sharp young man. I really enjoyed the conversation, and he's putting in a sophomore. So that shows you the depth of this class, of this school.
I mean, Carter's a guy who has played the national circuit, plays for the Royal Scout team. He's caught some of the most talented arms in the area. To call him a sophomore is like he's kind of a sophomore. He's had enough experiences in baseball and been around and understands how to have quality ABs. That's one of the reasons I love Carter is he's good in a showcase. Yeah, he can hold his own. He's a strong kid. If you want to see the best of Carter, you go watch him in a game. And that's where it's going to really show through. And it's just, again, kind of underlines what's going on in that Free State program and what's going on, the Royal Scout team in the summer. He's playing in two organizations all year long that believe in doing things a certain way and attacking the game a certain way. There's almost no flash to his game. And he does that on purpose. You would call it a blue collar grinder type of player. And it fits him well.
Oh, man. Well, let's start with some pitching here in that respect. And right at the top is a young man, and it's Zimbelman, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So Steven Zimbelman is a really fun story for me. He's still going through. So Steven's a guy who was a two-way a couple years ago, really interesting on both sides of the ball, hadn't got big and strong yet, but the frame was there. And then, unfortunately, you hate to see this happen. He had a little injury. I won't get too far into it, but it was kind of on and off and on and off, and he just wasn't getting the reps he needed. I knew he was frustrated. And kudos to the kid. When he couldn't do the other things he was wanting to do, he got in the weight room. And he worked on the things he had control of. And he walks in the door at the preseason All-State, and he looks like a completely different human being. And he then proceeds to get on the mound, and I think the best we saw him at was maybe an 85 on the mound before, but he would pitch in the 82, 83 range. And he gets on the mound, and I think every fastball was 89 or better, up to 91. It was just really impressive. With, by the way, more room to continue to polish. By no means is he now a finished product, but I think I received probably 10 to 15 calls about the young man the day after the event. As soon as the stats went up, everybody was like, holy cow, Steven Zimbelman. Yep. And here's why: work ethic, dedication. Nothing has been handed to him. I think a lot of times in life, you get an injury like his that just seems to kind of keep you out and on the sideline, and it's easy to sit down and wait to be healthy again. It's easy to feel bad for yourself, and I can tell you, based on his physique alone, that was not his standpoint. He came in and looked really good on the mound.
I think that's a credit to we were at he plays for the Competitive Edge group over there, and when we were at their facility talking with the folks over there, Davis, Premier,
the pitch, one of the pitching coaches. He does a really good job.
I'm sorry, Davis, I'm blanking on your last name, but had those conversations. I think I saw he was there. I think that Saturday working and doing before the showcase and whatnot. It shows you that. And Coach Ash, I to me, the thing that jumps off, and Andy, I love these things. Coach, when you got a kid, the max velocity showed 91, but his average velo 89.5 to 90.2. When that right there, that's, I know that's what I'm going to get. That's a sit. You see the 91, it's a flashy number, but then, maybe he's averaging 82 to 85. That's a common refrain. But when you got a kid like this, Coach, you're going to go out and he looked free and easy when we saw him. That's an arm that works.
Yeah, I mean, I throw 90. Usually in high school, you need to subtract 5, and that's probably where they're sitting. I think kids get wrapped up in numbers, okay?
Yeah.
Which people they need numbers because you have to evaluate, and
Mm-hmm.
And Andy made a really good comment about the catcher from Free State. You really can't appreciate kids until you see them play, and we don't have like 95-mile-an-hour guys. We just don't. Now, I was pleased the other day. We had our first scrimmage, and I had two. I didn't have everybody throw because we're all in different little throwing programs with our pitchers. But I mean, I had two guys that were sitting for a 20 to 25 pitch bullpen, no pitch less than 85 miles an hour. And for us, I mean, it's exciting, and they've worked their butts off, like in the weight room and all that stuff. So, yes, like to be able to pitch at a certain velocity or whatever, that's more important than, well, I can throw up a 9, but then in the third inning, I'm all the way down to like 80, sustainability, the weight room has a factor in it, your conditioning, like there's so much that plays into it. I think we forget, like, yes, he's got a great arm, but how much stamina does this kid have? Is he able to deliver where he wants to put the ball? Is he able to deliver secondary pitches consistently? Because we have to pitch backwards a lot. Like we will throw our fastballs off other pitches because that 80 to 83 is going to look like 90 because we have guys that command a changeup and a breaking ball, and it makes things a little bit more difficult. And so for my world, that's kind of how we approach the pitching side of things. But I mean, the ability to sustain velo throughout a game is huge. And so the sooner you can get your arm in shape, like right now we have this 7-week window. When I come out for our first game, like we will be on a pitch count. I won't throw a kid over 60 pitches for probably the first month. And it's not because they're not in shape. It's just, again, I'm trying to make sure that they're at their peak come April and May. And there's games that I don't want to sacrifice because it's a big game. You want to win it. But I see a lot of times in high school, these kids like day one, man, they're coming out and it's 105 pitches, you're out. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's their prerogative. And maybe that kid is in shape, but you just hope down the road that kid is healthy. And you can do all the right things. The kid still gets hurt. I'm not discrediting that, but I think it's important that you're really monitoring your staff and what you've done and how, every week we're adding pitches, and trying to build up in a more like natural way. We don't do a lot of the run and gun type arm conditioning. We do some plyo ball care, but we long toss like it's out of style. I mean, we do it all the time, and that's how we believe in building arm strength.
Andy, and this is where I think people have to understand your perspective and your side of it. And I don't know that we always do, because we love the big number, the 91, and it goes to what Coach said. You're looking at a projectability standpoint. This is what we know he could get to, and that's where we want to go. So kind of give people an opportunity to understand that perspective of that.
Yeah, we talk about floors and ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about players, when we're ranking, it's always from a projected sort of view. Meaning, it's really important to understand we are not ranking who the best high school players are for their high school teams this year. And there is there a time and a place for that? Yes, that is your all state awards from the state. That is your first team all conference awards. Like those matter big time. That is just not what we are doing on our end. Our job is to help players understand what the market is valuing at the college level and help colleges find the players based on that valuation. So, yes, a lot of times colleges, if they look at two players and one's a first team all conference and one is a guy who's back and forth from JV to varsity, but the projection lays heavily on one versus the other, the college is going to take the guy who's got a chance to have the athleticism, the ability to hopefully get outs at their level someday, versus a guy who's maybe has a ceiling that's lower, that maybe doesn't have a chance physically to do that. And I think people get caught up on, well, you say this player is better than that player. No. What is the market valuing at the next level? So the next level is more often than not looking for what is the higher ceiling, not who has the higher floor. And when I say higher floor, I mean a guy who's ready to produce right now. What is the worst that guy's ever going to be? Okay. Now, can a guy with a high floor and a low ceiling still play at a high level? Yeah, you see some boxy bodied left-handers that throw in the mid 80s still showing up in Power 4 baseball. They were really good. This may be a stretch. You can take Cole Gibbler from Blue Springs, and Cole, I don't think ever threw better than he may have shown in mid 90s, low 90s, but the majority of the time Cole Gibbler was pitching in the high 80s, maybe in the low 90s, and Arkansas couldn't wait to pay him. And you look at what he's doing for Arkansas, and he's probably the softest arm on their staff, and he keeps throwing shutout innings at the end of baseball games, winning those guys baseball games. So he was, an extreme example, but a slightly lower ceiling, but that floor was right up on that ceiling. We knew what he was going to be able to do at that level. There was no question. And you just balance that out. Are we always right? No, because not everybody reaches their potential.
Right.
Not everybody becomes the best player that maybe their body could be. Maybe there's guys that didn't look projectable and they grew. They got in the weight room and they just outworked everybody else. So it's never we don't like a player, or we don't, we think a player's better now or later. Everybody has the opportunity to make their own path and trail. Our job is to try to get it just organize it a little bit for colleges to see what they're looking for, and for players to kind of understand where they fit currently. It's a huge, I wish I would have had somebody explain to me where I fit in high school. I thought I was a lot better than I was. Now that I look back, man, there were some guys that I may have had a couple better stat lines better than that pitched in the big leagues.
Yeah.
I wish I would have had a different perspective, because looking back now, if I'm ranking them, of course those guys would have been better than me. The writing's all over the wall. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question a little bit of how we're looking at it, how we're going about it, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether we like you as a baseball player.
I love it. Absolutely. So give us your perspective on the rest of the pitching, what you saw there from that weekend.
Yeah, I'll bounce back and forth state by state if you don't mind.
Do it.
I think one of the most interesting arms we saw all preseason is hiding out over there at Knobnoster, in a kid named Cade Cantrell. Cade's a 6'2", 185-pound righty who is all knees, elbows, and low arm slots, and the ball absolutely explodes out of his hand in the upper 80s. And by the way, it's got massive sink and run to it. And he finds a way. A lot of young arms that throw that hard with that much electricity have a really tough time throwing it in the right direction. I was one of those guys. I feel that pain. but Cade has shown, the ability to command it too. So anytime you start seeing the athleticism to command all those long limbs with the velo, he's going to be a really, really interesting arm. Now, does he project to be a frontline Friday night starter? Not with how he's doing what he's doing. Could he be a big league bullpen piece someday? Man, maybe. That's kind of what they look like. So he's really interesting. You go Carson Cook, from Mill Valley is one of the best sliders in the region. He throws it as hard as he wants. It always seems to bite, and he can kind of. We saw him at the future games go to it in 3-1 counts, 3-0 counts, and get swings and misses. Anytime you've got a guy with a breaking ball like that, you've got a chance. And it'll be interesting to see how Mill Valley uses him. He was really good out of the pen last year as a sophomore, as a junior. It's going to be really tempting to give that guy the ball in the front end and just let him pitch. We'll see. It's exciting arm there. Mason Young, you want to talk about projectable. It's 6'4", almost 190 pounds. He's a two-way player and shows off all the athleticism in the world on the offensive side. But, oh, by the way, the arm works into the upper 80s as well. And that's an arm that, what's the ceiling there? If you called me 2 years from now and told me he was playing around in the mid-90s, I couldn't call you a liar. There's a chance for that athleticism to keep going. One of the most fun arms of the event was a left-hander from Shawnee Mission East. Gavin Perez is a guy that, again, just a little nagging pain here and there, is a guy that we just haven't seen a ton on the field from. And he came out from the left side and just absolutely dominated strike zone in the mid to upper 80s and committed last week to Kansas City, Kansas Community College immediately with a ton of interest. And I think his choice to go to junior college would probably lean to the fact that he knows his best baseball's in front of him and that he's going to continue to get better over the next few years. Again, this list is long, and you can just keep going and going. I'll go to another small school of Fort Osage on the Missouri side. Look out for Connor Harris, 5'10", 185. But Connor's another junior in that mid to upper 80s. You're going to have to stop me because I could keep going forever here.
Oh, no, I get it. And we do. And I like that. I did get to see Mason Young throw, and you're right. And the thing of it is, it's just smooth. Just smooth, too.
That Webb City group is going to compete. And when you give them some athletes, like, they've got 4 or 5 of them over there that we've got to see in the last few events, we're going to find a way to go watch them. They're going to be a must-watch team for us. And we're willing to travel to go do it. So that's going to be a fun group and always well coached.
Absolutely. Coach Donig does a great job with that group. Really like Coach Donig. We're working to get them on our schedule. We haven't found the right place yet, but we were supposed to go down last year and it got canceled. So I want to, because we met Coach Donig a few years ago at the state championships. He had his group there, and and I think that, and listen, and folks, what Andy's saying is correct, because Webb City and Platte County was the best Class 5 quarterfinal in the state. 2 of those games went to extra innings, and they were all won by 1 run. All games were won by 1 run. And that Platte County won the state championship. So it shows you really how good Webb City is, and they got a lot of those kids, coming back. So that's a team to watch, definitely, in Class 5. Okay, we're gonna move to the hitting side, and there was, excuse me. I always go, when I look at exit velocity, the big number's fine, beauty. Again, I love, it's fantastic. But I look for the average exit velocity, because then when you usually mosey on down the metrics, you see sweet spot percentage that's high and barrel percentages that are high. When you see high exit velo average, And that means, you're going to see kids, and there are kids that do better off machines. There are kids that don't do so well off machines. So sometimes you get that. But of course, the Summit Christian young man and Mr. Mulder is really high on this kid, and that's Keelan Zumwalt.
Yeah, we talked about him a little bit in the pre-event podcast last time we were on. Without just droning on and on, you're gonna have to really work to show me a better offensive player in the country in that class. You're gonna have to show me something really special. Yeah, I mean it's really as good as it gets. It's I believe we have him in the top 5 in the country, and there's arguments to be made. He's the best left-handed hitter, and he came in and honestly, this is gonna sound wild to anybody listening, but he didn't take his best round of BP that day.
What?
It wasn't his best round. It's just that electric. There's some of those balls he did not barrel. They just go. They go because the bat speed is that high. They go because the levers are known to use. Like that was not a full round of barrels, and the numbers still look like the way they do. 107, almost 108 max X at velo with a 99 average. His longest ball went 405 yards. Now that one he got, or 405 feet, excuse me. That one he got. I can confirm that. But that's, as crazy as this sounds, like that's kind of an average round, maybe even a touch below for him at this point. So yeah, I think Coach Ash, you might correct me here. I think you led all of Missouri high school baseball in home runs last year.
I think, I don't know for a fact, but I think he hit 12, which for a freshman is, I mean, if you hit 5 in high school, like you got some pop, and to hit 12, he should, and that kid he's gonna get all the success he deserves. He is that good. He will, all things considered, if he stays healthy and all that good stuff, like he's gonna absolutely mash the home run record if teams pitch to him. If we're playing them, if we're playing them, he will never even he doesn't even pick a bat up. I'll just say go to first base. So I'm not dumb. So, but he is super talented, and man, he makes loud contact.
And not to, I always try to give all credit to the player and try not to get too involved with outside stuff because I don't think it's fair to them. But I do think it's worth noting his dad is a hitting coach for the Royals. So he's not going to get like real confused on how to hit, or he's not going to go backwards. There's a reason it is what it is. And, it's going to be really fun to watch these next few years.
Well, and his older brother, Brooks Zumwalt, he's no slouch, right?
No, he's a really talented player. And he's actually the third brother. He's got an oldest brother at Fort Scott Community College right now too. So anytime you have 2 older brothers that have already gone through it, you have a dad who lives in the game, he's got a lot going for him, an awful lot going for him, which, again, makes it easier for us to say, he's probably going to keep being really good.
Probably so.
It's not exactly stepping out on a ledge.
12 home runs. You're right, Coach. My goodness. I mean, I've seen some. That's and a freshman.
It might have been 14. I could be misspeaking. So Keelan, if you watch this, I'm sorry if I gave the wrong number, but it was in that 12 to 14 mark. I do know that.
Goodness.
Yeah, by the way, he's a pretty good left-handed arm as well.
Yeah.
He didn't throw at this event, but he's going to be a mid to upper 80s left-handed arm who knows how to throw strikes with a breaking ball.
Yep.
Goodness. Another young man that I want to mention, because we did a player spotlight. He's a senior, and over at Liberty North. I think Liberty North is just going to be tough to beat, and that is Troy Fisher. And he had a good showing, Andy.
Troy's as athletic as they come. It's 6'3", 200 pounds, a pure athlete. Troy, I think, again, we talked about him on the preview. It'll be interesting to see if they keep him on the left side of the infield. He's athletic enough. He's shown some really cool things behind the dish.
Right.
And you put him in one of these indoor workouts, and you're just going to expect the stats to just absolutely jump off the page. He's a 6'6" runner. He's 90 across the infield. He was 104, almost 105 with the exit velo. It's just going to be really fun to watch him to work. And if he is successful, if he can stay on barrel all spring in a really tough league, I was just going through it. I think Liberty North has 6 arms that are 90 or better. Mm-hmm. So if he can stay on the barrel and those guys can throw a few strikes, that's going to be a really dangerous club over there.
Oh, man. I tell you, man, we had a great conversation with Coach Bradshaw over there. That team is loaded. And don't forget William Bologna,
one of the better defenders in the entire region.
Exactly. It's a wealth of talent. Liberty North is going to be a tough team to beat over there. And it's
Coach, before we move on, because I want to throw one out there because I know how little brothers get treated. Theo Fisher is 6'3", 170 pounds, and can really move the barrel as well now. 100-mile-an-hour exit velo, and you'd want to talk about projection. At the same age, I might bet higher on Theo. He's got more opportunities. So, sorry, Theo. Theo, I didn't want to leave you out there. Those are two brothers that are going to probably hit in the middle of the order together and play a really important role at the highest level in baseball.
My goodness. Andy, floor's yours there to finish out these hitters. Who else are we looking at?
Sure. I kind of a small school theme a little bit on today's call, so I'll go ahead and touch on Jordy Scott from Rock Creek over in the Manhattan area. He's a 5'11", 185-pound outfielder that he's a good runner. There's 104 exit velo. He's just a fun guy to watch play. And again, so a lot of times you find those smaller school guys end up being those grinder guys, the guys that aren't used to having the spotlight on them, so they just work in the dark anyway. And he's another one of those guys. Really good showing out of him. He keeps getting better. I can keep going down the list. Parker Jackson, Concordia, Kansas, another two-way player, made the trip for the event, and he just keeps continuing to get better. 103 exit velo. I got to hit on Isaac Holt here. You want to talk about average exit velos? So he was a top of 99. The average was 94, but here's where I think it gets really impressive. The average distance was 309 with a max of 350. So not only was he on time every time, not only was he on the barrel every time, but he was launching balls at the angle he was wanting to launch them at. That's an incredibly impressive round from an outfielder out of the Wichita area who keeps getting better every time we see him. If you're a college Division I school listening right now and you aren't afraid to go into that Wichita market and try to get a guy, he's a guy you're going to have to know about. You're going to see him go up in our rankings again. He just keeps getting better. And again, he's at Andover High School, which is not – it's not a Staley. It's not a Blue Valley. It's if you live in Kansas, you know about Andover, but it's not in the limelight. He's a guy that you just got to see. Gosh, I flip back over to the Missouri side. If you want to go back into the 2028s, Jagger Jackson, 6'2", 220. Coach, I don't know if you guys ever play Savannah, but they got a good group over there. And
yeah, we're in that tournament. Yep. Well,
there you go.
And to go off that, the Kansas City area, Jagger he's special. He's a good player. The Cam Gillespie from Liberty in the 2028, like as far as polish, like from what I've seen, like he doesn't strike out. He's a 6'6" runner. Great back control, knows how to play the game. Cam's one of my favorite kids of all time. Like, just love the way he plays.
I think you may have left off my favorite tool, which is the glove.
Oh, defensively unreal. And then you throw in a Crew Patrick. Andy talked about state
in that same class.
You talk about a
class with
two-way kid. He's going to be in the 90s on the bump, and he's going to hit probably in the 3-4 hole for him as a sophomore. So. And then you get into St. Joe, the Porter McCarthy, Xander Tiller. there's a kid that didn't play a lot last year from Grain Valley, catcher. That's Rusty Meyer's son, Brady Meyer.
Brady.
I think is going to have a very big year for Grain. I mean, the 2028 class is a little different for me because I've lived that world and just be able to see those kids perform and play over the years, man. Like Kevin said it best. Like the Missouri 2028 class is probably the most talented group to come out of it since PBR has been in existence. So it's exciting from that standpoint. So, and then, hey, one other thing too, I got to be, looking at the top arms in this area, the Tyler Putnam kid from Battle, 6'5", 6'6", just throw. I mean,
by the time he leaves high school, he's going to be throwing consistently in the hundreds.
Yeah, so the other day he did have a post. He did hit 100 a couple weeks ago up at a indoor facility in Columbia.
Oh my God.
He got triple digits. So I mean, can you imagine being a high school hitter, 6'6", coming downhill with that? Good luck. Tennessee got a good one.
And Coach, let's not just glaze over the fact that we've got Nolan Ash. Number 5 overall. One of the top shortstops in the class. The young man's got a very bright future. We like Coach's kids. We like those guys. Those guys end up being good players.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I wasn't going to let you get away with that.
Yeah, those. Hey, one kid on the Kansas side, Andy, Luke Kimna. Is that a kid that? I mean, obviously, I know he's rated high and all those things, but I mean, that was a kid I remember as a young kid. Like, I mean, he was in the mid upper 80s as a 14, 15-year-old, and he just seems to. He's a kid that really stood out on the Kansas side for me as a pitcher.
Yeah, Luke McKenna is a 6'6", 205-pound right-hander in the 28 class who has 2 older brothers who are both very successful on the mound. So again, you get into this. I've seen it done and know what I'm doing. Luke is really special. We've seen him up to 89. Throw strikes, competes. There's just not a whole lot not to love there. By the way, there's a split finger I believe he throws. That is a really, really tough pitch on both righties and lefties. The 28s and Luke's on the Kansas side, but the 28s in Missouri, I'll take a stab and say there's a real chance you see 3 picks on the top 3 rounds out of Missouri out of high school.
I can see that.
Maybe 4. It's just.
What'd you think about the Ryder Vincent kid out of Smithville, 28?
Yeah, I mean, here's another one. So you almost start to get numb to it in some ways, but yeah, like in any other class, I think we're in any other group we're talking about him. Unfortunately, he has to wait his turn after we talk about these other guys. But yeah, what was it, a 98 exit velo or something, if I remember right? Like,
yes,
it's
correct.
Just another really talented 28 out of Missouri. And again, I think obviously they're 28s, their best baseball's in front of them. I think Ryder's got as much ramp in front of him to continue to get better as anybody in the group.
Was there something in the water when these kids were born or something? I don't know, man.
You see it every now and then. We've talked about the 26 class in Kansas, the 2011 class in Oklahoma with 4 first-rounders. Every once in a while, the stars align, the people live on the right sides of the borders, and you just see some of this happen. Now, to have a Kansas 26 class and a Missouri 28 class that close together, I think is really interesting. But we can get way down into why that is. I think the resources, the coaching in Kansas and Missouri on both sides is starting to tick up at a pretty high rate. Some of the rule changes have allowed players to have more access to more coaching and more time on the field in Kansas and Missouri. Now that you're starting to see some of these players flourish now, where some of the, in the past, some of the other areas of the country, I think the advantage they had was just so great. I think that gap is starting to narrow a little bit. You talk about Misha. We're starting to see some help for these players and the accessibility for them to keep getting better. So do I think it is just random? I don't. I think you're going to continue seeing, not every year is going to be a 28. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to keep seeing nationally Missouri, as long as they keep giving them resources, you're going to keep seeing Missouri and Kansas continue to climb and not just be considered, for a long time, we were talked about the same way cold weather states, the same way people talked about Minnesota, Illinois, because we had the same limitations as far as how kids could get on the field. And I think we're starting to evolve a little bit past that. I think you're kind of seeing some immediate results.
Coach, final thoughts.
Nothing, man. I want to thank you for having me on again. And then obviously Andy and PBR, Kevin Mulder, for what they do and to be able to showcase and spotlight kids, and Andy's bringing up names that maybe aren't like on the ranking system or something, but like it's important that those kids are also acknowledged because, like I said, there's kids that are going to come out of nowhere that like, oh man, like they made a huge jump. And for them to do that, I think it provides a source of like a goal for kids sometimes, like, hey, like these are my goals. I'm going to work my butt off to do these things. And then I'm going to go get evaluated. I'm going to get tested. And I mean, high school teams don't have the resources sometimes to provide all that stuff. And they just do such a good job and that's why PBR is kind of like taking over like baseball, like for the youth, because they do such a phenomenal job. And the most important thing, me as a coach and a dad, like the trust levels there, like they're going to shoot you straight. And there's going to be those conversations, but they're also going to do whatever they can to help those kids and those families if they do want to possibly play at the next level. And so it's just neat to see, and it's really cool to see like the Midwest, Kansas and Missouri specifically, have so many talented players that are going to do phenomenal things.
I love it, and that's the thing. I love that. The direct, honest approach to something. Here's the numbers. This is what it is. We're going to tell you, this is what it is. And I think parents need to, especially with the new recruiting rules, I think that has been so fantastic. I'm so glad that is in place because I think it just for me and what we do here, the perspective and what we do with youth baseball when we go from 8U to 14U. I don't want to talk about college. You shouldn't be talking about college. Can you make your high school team in Missouri? That's the challenge that you're facing when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Are you getting the development you need out of what you're doing to when you get to 13 and 14, you're now in a place where you can start refining your skills to where you're going to be going in as a freshman and seeing if you can make a squad. Because as you said, the tick up in talent you just look across the board, the level of play in high school baseball in Kansas and Missouri. Listen, some of these schools are cutting kids that are going to go play at the next level. And that's just a fact. And that's not everybody, and that's a few, but man, that's the reality of it. And when you start understanding that, now you have to understand what you're dealing with and why these things are important. So the refocus at those younger ages, I think, is a fantastic thing. Let's just focus on high school baseball. Can you make your high school baseball team? Hey, you go to Southern Boone, you gotta put it out. You're not Coach Ash ain't just gonna let you on the field because you're a baseball player. It ain't happening. And that's the standard I think that's being set. So I think it does go back to that thought process, how we're building those things, and understand where recruiting really does matter once you get to that place where your skills are showing there in high school. So I appreciate it very much. Andy, I appreciate you allowing us to come out there, man. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
It was absolutely a pleasure to have you guys. I know it adds a really cool piece to the event for the players. It levels up what we're doing to have you guys out there, giving them your platform as well. And I know we've talked a lot about team rankings and player rankings. Mm-hmm. I do think it's important to remember, comparison can be a thief of joy. I think so many people get caught up in maybe over comparing. Let us do that. I think the best players, I think, are the ones that really enjoy the process and the love of the process and being really concerned about what makes them better and how they can get better. So it just not to pull everybody's like to this like, hey, this guy's here and this guy's here and this guy's exit is here and that guy's there. We talk about that because that's our job. That's what we do every day. But you see some players, maybe, and some parents at times get lost thinking that they should be super concerned about that. I just would love to remind parents and players that if you become in love with the process and the game and you stay hyper focused on what you're doing, the game is going to tell you where you're fit. Not me, not Coach Ash. The game will put you where you belong, and the best way to do that is to be super. I'm not saying not to be a good teammate, but if you focus on being your best you're going to end up where you need to be. So I just wanted to put that out there after talking about rankings and stats and teams, and so
gold nuggets right there, man. Appreciate that, Andy. That's good stuff, bud. Hey, we're going to be doing some more. We're going to keep up. We're getting closer. We hope we did invite Andy out to come out and call some games with us. So we're hoping that his schedule fits that, and look forward to working some more with him as we continue to grow. So, Coach, we're looking forward. We're going to be at the Southern Boone Invitational. We're working on a couple other things. Always a pleasure coming out to your house, man. Great hospitality. We appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Brian.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Hit the like button. That helps all the algorithm. You know the drill here in high school baseball or YouTube land. So we do appreciate it. Thank you. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers. Andy, you got some advice for pitchers?
Fall in love with the process.
It's good stuff. Hitters, I'm just going with my old line. Hit them where they ain't. We'll see y'all next time.